Deep inside a hidden research base, a new kind of weapon is quietly forming. It has no barrel, no blade, and no visible shape at all. Its power lies entirely in mathematics and the strange rules of quantum physics. This is the question haunting military planners. Could quantum computers hack military networks? For decades, military secrets have hidden behind some of the strongest encryption ever built. Commanders trusted these systems to keep enemy forces blind to their real plans. That trust was never absolute, but it was strong enough to build strategy around. Quantum computing now threatens to quietly dissolve that foundation of digital trust. To understand the danger, we must first understand how military networks protect themselves. Every order, every satellite feed, and every drone command travels through encrypted channels. These channels scramble information using complex mathematical keys almost impossible to guess. Breaking these keys with normal computers would take longer than human civilization exists. That impossible timeline is exactly what made military planners feel completely secure. Quantum computers threaten to shrink that impossible timeline down to mere hours. This shift would not just weaken security, it would completely reshape modern warfare. A machine that reads enemy secrets instantly holds an almost unfair strategic advantage. Military analysts call this scenario a full-spectrum intelligence collapse for any nation. It means troop movements, attack plans, and defense positions could suddenly become visible. Understanding why requires a quick look at how quantum computers actually work. Traditional computers process information using bits that are either 0 or 1. Quantum computers instead use qubits, which can represent many states at once. This property called superposition allows quantum machines to explore countless solutions simultaneously. Another property called entanglement links qubits together in ways ordinary physics cannot explain. Together, these effects give quantum computers a radically different kind of computational power. For most tasks, this power offers little advantage over today's fastest supercomputers. But for cracking certain encryption methods, this power becomes extremely dangerous indeed. Military encryption often relies on factoring extremely large numbers into their prime components. A quantum algorithm developed by mathematician Peter Shor makes this factoring shockingly fast. What once took longer than the age of the universe could take minutes. This single algorithm turned theoretical physics into a genuine national security concern overnight. Military leaders around the world quickly recognized the seriousness of this new threat. Intelligence agencies began treating quantum computing as a matter of strategic urgency. Some nations started preparing defenses years before quantum computers were even functional. Others focused instead on offensive strategies designed to exploit this coming vulnerability. This split created a quiet but intense global race behind closed laboratory doors. Military networks are especially attractive targets because of what they actually contain. Satellite command systems, drone control links, and nuclear command channels all rely on encryption. If any of these systems were suddenly exposed, the consequences could be catastrophic. An adversary reading live drone commands could hijack unmanned aircraft mid-mission instantly. An adversary intercepting satellite communications could track troop movements in complete real time. Even more alarming, nuclear command systems depend heavily on unbreakable encrypted communication. Any weakness there would represent one of the gravest security failures imaginable today. This is why nuclear-armed nations treat quantum research as an existential priority. Some military strategists describe quantum decryption as a silent, invisible weapon of war. Unlike missiles or tanks, this weapon leaves no physical trace of its use. An enemy could read your secrets for months before anyone noticed the breach. This delayed discovery makes quantum threats especially dangerous for long-term military planning. Intelligence agencies already practice a strategy known as harvest, now decrypt later collection. They intercept and store encrypted military communications even without current decryption capability. The plan is simple. Wait for quantum computers, then unlock everything at once. This means classified information sent today could be exposed a decade from now. Military planners must now consider that today's secrets may not stay secret forever. This changes how long-term strategies, missions, and alliances are quietly being planned. Some experts compare this shift to the early nervous days of nuclear deterrence. Back then, nations feared weapons capable of instant, unstoppable, devastating destruction. Quantum decryption offers a different kind of devastation entirely built from pure information. Instead of destroying cities, it could destroy the secrecy that protects entire nations. Military networks are not standing still while this quantum threat continues developing rapidly. Defense agencies are actively researching something called post-quantum cryptography for protection. These new encryption methods rely on mathematical problems even quantum computers struggle solving. Lattice-based systems and certain coding theory problems currently resist quantum attacks well. Military labs are testing these systems across satellites, drones, and secure communication networks. The goal is replacing vulnerable encryption before quantum computers become fully operational. This transition, however, is neither simple nor quick for massive military infrastructure. Every satellite radio and communication device must eventually support new encryption standards. Some equipment is decades old and was never designed with future upgrades in mind. Replacing or upgrading this hardware requires enormous funding time and careful coordination. Meanwhile, adversaries know this transition creates a dangerous window of continued vulnerability. Military planners call this period the quantum gap between old and new defenses. During this gap, old encrypted communications remain exposed to future quantum decryption. Closing this gap quickly has become one of the top defense priorities worldwide. Some nations are also exploring quantum key distribution for extremely sensitive communications. This method uses the physical properties of light particles to detect eavesdropping instantly. If someone attempts to intercept the signal, its quantum state visibly changes. This built-in alarm system offers a theoretically unhackable layer of protection. However, this technology remains expensive, complex, and difficult to deploy widely today. For now, only the most critical military channels can justify its enormous cost. Everyday communication systems will likely depend on post-quantum cryptography for years ahead. The race toward quantum military capability is not limited to defense alone. Offensive quantum research focuses on building tools capable of breaking rival networks first. Whoever achieves reliable quantum decryption first gains a powerful intelligence advantage overnight. This advantage could allow real-time visibility into enemy strategy and troop positioning. Such visibility could dramatically shift the outcome of future military conflicts entirely. This is why quantum computing has become deeply intertwined with modern military doctrine. Some analysts believe future wars could be decided before troops ever engage directly. Whoever controls the flow of secret information may control the outcome first. This idea marks a dramatic shift from traditional models of military strength. Physical firepower alone may no longer guarantee dominance on future digital battlefields. Information security itself is quickly becoming a weapon as powerful as any missile. Nations lacking quantum readiness risk becoming strategically blind compared to advanced rivals. This growing gap could widen global power imbalances in dangerous, unpredictable ways. Smaller nations with fewer resources may struggle to keep pace with this shift. International alliances are beginning to discuss shared quantum defense frameworks for smaller partners. Cooperation remains difficult, however, given the secretive nature of military research worldwide. Trust between allied nations is tested when sharing sensitive quantum defense information. Yet many experts argue that isolation only increases everyone's shared vulnerability instead. A single unprotected ally could become an entry point for larger network breaches. This interconnected risk pushes military alliances toward cautious but necessary technological cooperation. Cybersecurity experts within defense agencies now describe quantum readiness as continuous, not final. There is no single moment when a military network becomes permanently completely safe. Threats evolve, constantly requiring ongoing testing upgrades and vigilant strategic monitoring. This mindset shift represents one of the most important lessons of the quantum era. Military leaders must treat quantum defense as an endless, evolving mission, not a task. Training programs are already teaching a new generation of cyber defense specialists. These specialists study both traditional cybersecurity and emerging quantum-resistant defense techniques. Universities partnering with defense agencies now offer specialized quantum security research programs. This investment reflects how seriously military institutions view the coming quantum threat. Public awareness of this issue, however, remains surprisingly low compared to its importance. Most people assume military networks are already impossible for anyone to breach. This assumption may become dangerously outdated as quantum technology continues advancing rapidly. Journalists and researchers are working to explain this complex threat in clearer terms. Understanding this issue helps citizens grasp why defense budgets increasingly prioritize quantum research. It also helps explain why nations guard quantum breakthroughs with extreme secrecy today. A single leaked breakthrough could instantly shift global military balance overnight. This is why quantum research often happens behind closed doors in classified programs. Some breakthroughs may already exist without any public knowledge or official announcement. This uncertainty adds another layer of tension to an already secretive global race. No nation wants to reveal how close or how far they truly are. This silence makes the coming quantum cyber conflict difficult to measure or predict. Still, military strategists continue preparing for a future they cannot fully see yet. Simulations, war games, and classified exercises now regularly include quantum attack scenarios. These exercises help commanders understand how a sudden quantum breach might unfold. They also help identify weaknesses before real adversaries can exploit them first. This proactive approach reflects lessons learned from previous major cybersecurity failures worldwide. Waiting for an attack to happen is no longer considered an acceptable strategy. Modern defense doctrine increasingly emphasizes prevention over reaction whenever possible. Quantum threats, however, challenge this doctrine because timing remains fundamentally unpredictable. No one can say with certainty when a functional attack-capable machine arrives. This uncertainty forces military planners to prepare for multiple possible timelines simultaneously. Some plan for a slow, gradual quantum transition unfolding across many years. Others fear a sudden, unexpected breakthrough could arrive with little advance warning. Either scenario demands the same underlying solution: stronger, faster quantum-resistant defenses. The stakes of this challenge extend far beyond any single nation's military secrets. Modern militaries rely on interconnected systems, linking satellites, drones, ships, and command centers. A single quantum breach could potentially cascade across multiple connected systems rapidly. This interconnected vulnerability makes quantum defense a matter of systemic national resilience. Could quantum computers truly hack military networks remains a question without a simple answer. The honest answer is not yet, but the timeline keeps shrinking steadily. Every year brings quantum computers closer to breaking encryption once thought unbreakable forever. Every year also brings new defenses designed to withstand that exact threat. This ongoing race will likely define military cybersecurity for the coming decades ahead. The nations that prepare earliest may hold a decisive strategic advantage later. Those that hesitate may find their secrets exposed at the worst possible moment. History shows that military power often shifts toward those who adapt fastest. Quantum computing may soon become the newest test of that timeless pattern. The battlefield of tomorrow may be built from qubits instead of bullets. Whoever masters that battlefield first could quietly reshape global security for generations. Right now, in classified labs around the world, that battle is already underway. Consider a single military satellite responsible for guiding precision missiles toward distant targets. If its encrypted commands were suddenly readable, an enemy could redirect or disable it instantly. Consider a submarine relying entirely on encrypted signals to receive critical strategic orders. A quantum breach there could leave commanders dangerously blind during a real crisis. Consider an entire air defense network coordinated through encrypted radar and communication links. Breaking that encryption could blind an entire country's ability to detect incoming threats. These scenarios are not exaggerated fears, created purely for dramatic storytelling effect. They are exact situations defense planners actively simulate during classified strategic exercises. Retired generals have publicly warned that quantum readiness must become a top defense priority. They argue that ignoring this threat risks repeating past mistakes made with earlier technologies. History offers a clear warning through the story of early wartime code-breaking efforts. Breaking enemy codes once helped shorten major conflicts and save countless human lives. Quantum computing could hand that same devastating advantage to whichever nation moves first. This historical parallel explains why so many governments treat this research with total secrecy. Defense contractors are now competing fiercely to build quantum-resistant military communication systems. Billions of dollars are being funneled into contracts focused purely on quantum defense research. This spending reflects how seriously military budgets now treat this emerging digital battlefield. Some critics argue that funding should instead prioritize immediate conventional defense needs first. Supporters counter that ignoring quantum threats today guarantees far greater costs tomorrow. This debate continues within defense departments as budgets are carefully reviewed each year. Meanwhile, smaller allied nations often depend on larger partners for quantum defense support. This dependency creates complex alliances built around shared technological trust and cooperation. Some worry that over-reliance on powerful allies could create dangerous strategic vulnerabilities later. Others believe cooperation remains the fastest realistic path toward global quantum readiness. Military historians note that technological shifts rarely favor nations that hesitate too long. Radar aircraft and nuclear weapons all once represented similarly disruptive military turning points. Each time nations that adapted quickly gained lasting strategic advantages over slower rivals. Quantum computing appears set to follow the same historically consistent competitive pattern. Cyber defense teams within militaries now train specifically for simulated quantum attack scenarios. These simulations test how quickly compromised systems could be identified and isolated safely. Speed matters enormously, since delayed detection could allow attackers deeper unauthorized network access. Some defense networks now include automated systems designed to detect unusual quantum-level threats. These systems monitor for signs that encrypted data may have been silently compromised. Early detection could give commanders precious time to switch toward backup secure channels. Backup channels using quantum-resistant encryption are increasingly standard in modern military planning. Redundancy has become a core principle guiding this new era of digital defense. No single encryption method is trusted completely, given the uncertain quantum timeline ahead. Layered defenses combining multiple encryption types offer stronger protection against unknown future threats. This strategy accepts that perfect security may be impossible in a quantum future. Instead, the goal becomes slowing attackers down and limiting potential damage severely. Even a delayed breach gives commanders valuable time to respond and adapt quickly. This shift in thinking mirrors broader changes happening across modern cybersecurity philosophy overall. Perfect prevention is being replaced by resilient systems built to withstand eventual failure. Military networks designed this way can continue functioning even during partial security breaches. This resilience could prove decisive during a real-world quantum-enabled conflict scenario. Some experts believe the first true test of quantum warfare may arrive suddenly. A single successful attack could reveal vulnerabilities that theoretical research never fully anticipated. This possibility keeps defense planners cautious even as quantum computers remain still developing. Nobody wants to be the nation caught unprepared when that moment finally arrives. This shared fear continues driving rapid investment across intelligence and defense communities worldwide. The question is no longer whether quantum computers could threaten military networks eventually. The real question is how quickly defenses can outpace this rapidly advancing threat. Every breakthrough in quantum computing research pushes that critical race forward another step. Every breakthrough in quantum-resistant defense pushes back against that same advancing threat. This constant back and forth defines the current state of global military cybersecurity. Whoever ultimately wins this quiet race may shape international power for decades ahead. For now, the answer remains uncertain, locked within classified laboratories worldwide. What remains certain is that this silent race will not slow down anytime soon.